Sure.
the youngsters, because at the end of the day, successes certainly excite, but
Sure.
failures actually teach a lot
Sure.
and ensure that you actually move forward in the right direction.
Sure. So I'd like to give two examples of failures, and maybe I'll add a third one, which is specific to women, but I'll add that in the end.
So you
Uh,
add success as well as failures. So that will be
I think success is something that everybody talks about very proudly, and it's all over the social media and internet, and it's all over there. So success of elephant can be read anywhere else, but I think failures is something that one rarely wants to talk about or ask about. So I'm glad that you're asking that. Always wanted to be ahead of the curve in terms of technology and always wanted to use what is new. So we found out that that kind of print is only happening in other cities, but in Pune there's no such thing. And we thought, since we use a lot of that print in any of our installations, exhibitions, showrooms, and so on, maybe we should put up, a machine. And not only will we print for ourselves, but we'll put up a service of printing. So we spent, for that time, it was a huge amount of money. I think we had taken a loan, and we had put up this machine in our premises. And we thought that, the word just has to go around and we will get like a whole lot of business people will queue up to get their prints done. Strangely enough, it did. But what failed was the technology. We had gone too ahead of the curve. The technology was not stabilized yet. And the prints, as soon as they would get exposed to UV light, would fade overnight.
okay.
And we had already sunk in a lot of money. So there was no way to sort of upgrade to the next technology. We were already worried that maybe even the next technology is not ready yet. Maybe those inks are not stable yet either. So we had this giant machine on our head, some consumables on our head, a loan on our head. And we realized that sometimes, unless you really, really analyze and test and prototype and test again, you shouldn't be jumping into decisions. So that's really the big lesson we learned. So did we stay ahead of the curve? Yes, even today we try and buy what is ahead of the curve. But unless we have actually really checked everything and analyzed and whether it works for us and whether it's feasible and so on, we just don't sort of jump into something as because it's the next best technology. So that was one. It was a big learning for us, and every time we invest in something, that learning sort of comes back. The second one was, well, this was another interesting one, and as failures come and go, I say that there are some good failures and some bad failures. So sometimes you learn. Good failures are where you learn from. Bad failures are when you keep making the same mistake again and again and again. I think those should not be talked about. But second failure, which is, and like I said, I would add that angle of especially working with a lot of women. So Elephant has always been an equal opportunities company. We have strangely an equal good gender balance. We always have equal number of men and women as we go along. And I try and lead by example, saying how it's not a hobby, how we have to be extremely serious about our profession. But at the same time, I see a lot of young women having to let go of their career because of the other choices that they make. And that I feel is still my failure. I take it as my personal failure when somebody leaves her extremely thriving profession to go and relocate or to let go of the great career because of various other pressures. And I think that's something that I haven't yet managed to solve. And I think there are many women like me who are always trying to figure how do we get more women to stay within the profession. So the good part today, as we are sitting at home and working, all of us, is that something has just got proved that many women who find it very challenging to go outside their house and work have extremely successfully managed their job from home. So I think this situation, the silver lining I see in this situation is that probably that failure is not going to last anymore, and we are going to see a flip side of it, which is positive. So again, a good failure, we'll learn something from it.
Ashwini, as you have rightly said, we are all working from home, and even large number of companies have now working. Their 70-80% staff is now working from home.
Right?
You must be talking to a lot of clients,
Sure.
okay, currently. Uh, Based on your interaction, with your clients, and you have really big clients, right? Like from Hindustan Levers to many more ITC and so on, so many clients. So what kind of impression you get from them about the post-COVID world and how the business will evolve in this post-COVID world?
So strangely, nobody really knows the future. Though everybody believes that they have done their plan B and they have planned for all the contingencies, and everything has been neatly laid out and so on. I mean, I know of companies who have created almost 30% excess space in case they get a project and they need to sort of overnight hire a team and start next day. I know of companies who have a huge bench strength, and that contingency plan somehow just doesn't work in such times. And I heard somebody saying something very interesting, which is again a client who said that in the probability theory, one always prepares for the most probable scenario, and people who are smarter, they prepare for the next best or next probable scenario. Now, this scenario that we are sitting in has never been probable. We have
Yeah,
never prepared for it. And yet we are all facing it. And yet we are all sort of going on. I mean, I think it's the 75th day or something, right? So I see most of our clients in sectors like pharma or FMCG. I think they have now held up pretty well because they have managed to overcome the challenges of logistics, of starting factories back, and getting raw material back and so on. But clients who are in sectors like automobile or machine tools or any other B2B sector which is not considered essential, like even appliances and tools and so on, I think they are really, or edutech, education. And so education, interestingly, is turning to edutech now because that's the way they are solving their challenge. But I think many of these companies which have complete sort of lockdown and zero billing over last 2 months, they are going to take at least 15 to 18 months to even see some sense of normalcy. The other sectors, I think, will come back probably within 6 to 8 months. That's the feeling I hear from all the clients.
You rightly said, Ashwini. Even when I'm also attending large number of webinars, I talk a lot also, address large number of students.
Sure.
And I always tell them that your skill set pre-COVID and your skill set post-COVID has to be now substantially different. You need to ensure that you upgrade your skill set and you use your time very efficiently to
Sure.
upgrade your skill set.
Sure.
Considering design and large number of technology students or non-technology students which we have more than 3.5 crore students in higher education sector.
Sure.
And equally large number of professionals, young professionals who are just out of college,
Right.
doing their job or have 2 or 3 years of experience. So what is your suggestion or advice to them that what they should do so that they remain relevant in this world, and from a design perspective also, how they can blend their technology with design or something which will give them an added advantage or an edge against others.
Sure. So I think first of all, stop seeing fake news. This university of WhatsApp is not really doing well for us. It's a complete waste of time, and it sort of just pollutes the mind that could have got something fresh and